I have loved the game of football for as long as I can remember. That sounds corny, but it's true. To me, the game is like chess, except the kings, bishops, pawns, and knights are replaced by elite athletes of every shape and size. I was captivated by the way all these pieces on the field work together to achieve success. As I got older, I began to learn more and more about the effects of playing the game of football, things I hadn't realized before. Everyone knows that football players get concussions, and concussions are bad, but I began hearing acronyms I'd never heard before, like CTE and TBI. A man named Bennett Amalu discovered the first link between football players and chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and the NFL changed forever. When Dr. Amalu presented his work to current NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell in 2007, it was dismissed. This was one of many instances in which the NFL has acted to deny links and suppress evidence between football and brain damage. The fact is, the NFL has still not fully acknowledged the dangers of its sport. A 2017 study examined the brains of 202 deceased ex football players. 177 of those brains were diagnosed with CTE, and out of the 111 brains of former NFL players, 110 were diagnosed with CTE. Additionally, over 1,700 concussions were reported between the 2012 and 2018 seasons, according to injury data released by the NFL. One can only imagine the number of unreported concussions. When we deem something to be dangerous or detrimental to health, we generally start warning people. Anyone who has ever bought tobacco or alcohol has seen the Surgeon General's warning. We want people to know when something is dangerous and what kind of effects it has long term. For almost 150 years, football has been played without a warning label. Until very recently, players have been left in the dark by their employers regarding what kind of long term effects come with playing football. It was not until 2009, following the suicides of multiple former players who were diagnosed with CTE post mortem, that the NFL began to at least acknowledge the role of concussions in football. And it took until 2016 for the NFL to acknowledge the link between CTE and football. As a fan of the NFL and of football in general, it just disheartens me to know that people at the highest level of the game continue to downplay the effects of CTE. In 2010, a University of Pennsylvania student named Owen Thomas committed suicide. He was a lineman for the school's football team, and during his autopsy, researchers discovered early signs of CTE in Thomas's brain. He had never been diagnosed with a concussion. This study revealed something very important. Subconcussive blows to the head accumulate over time and lead to the onset of CTE. You don't even need to get a concussion to develop CTE. For a game like football, where a single player may accumulate thousands of subconcussive blows to the head in a single season, it's not so simple to just design better helmets or slightly change the rules to make it more safe. There's a fundamental flaw in the way that the game is played that results in a higher chance of depression, a higher chance of dementia, and a higher chance of Alzheimer's for retired players. For that reason, I believe we must begin to take steps to stop playing football on a professional and collegiate level. That may sound far-fetched or ridiculous, but I'm serious. There are other sports to play. Sign your kids up for a basketball camp or the local soccer team. Avoid watching NFL games. Do something else besides supporting a sport and a league that does nothing to care for its players. If the NFL really cared about the safety of its players, they would have made changes long ago, but they don't, and they haven't. All the NFL cares about is profit, and as long as we keep watching the games, the league keeps making money. So stop watching. Keep your kids out of football. You'll thank me later. The point of this presentation is not to demonize football. Personally, I love the sport. I think its brutality and physicality are beautiful. But the problem is, those two things are what make the sport so remarkably dangerous. So the point of this presentation is simply to raise the question, is football even worth playing anymore? Why do we keep glorifying this barbaric sport and allowing our children to play it at such a young age, when all evidence suggests that it leads to life-changing brain disease? And most importantly, are we going to continue to turn a blind eye and allow future generations to suffer the same horrible fate as Mike Webster and Junior Seau? Or are we going to turn a corner, end our irrationality, and begin to dismantle the iron machine we call football?